Good evening, everyone, and thanks for being here after many conversations and many talks. As David was saying, I'm the director of Cineglossa, which is a research center and also a cultural organization based in Italy. And as a research center, we develop methodologies that impact community, and as a cultural organization, we impact community. So what we are proud of is to be also like official partner of the European Bauhaus, because as some of you might know, there is this movement that is thinking technology not just as a means, but as a tool for improving life of people. And this is what Cineglossa basically is doing, trying to use technology for improving or understanding better what technology is and how the people can use it in their lives. So what the project that I want to talk to you about today is called Artificial Intelligence for Future, which is co-funded by Creative Europe program, and Cineglossa is the artistic coordinator, but of course we are not the only ones. We have fantastic partners with us. There's Meet in Milan, the Digital Culture Center, and we've got V2 in Rotterdam, and Espronceda here in Barcelona, and an associated partner, which is Sardegna Teatro in Cagliari. What we do with Artificial Intelligence for Future is we created 4 urban labs, one in each city, and the urban labs are composed of the cultural centers, some artists, and young activists. So what every cultural center did was inviting activists, first of all, in understanding what artificial intelligence is and how they can use artificial intelligence for creating advocacy campaigns and advocacy projects to strengthen their beliefs and their challenges. Each country and each city, of course, had different purposes because they met different activists. So in Rotterdam, they were focused on the overall topic was mobility, post-COVID mobility. So we asked the cultural center to inquire with the activists what they meant in their perspective with mobility. That is, of course, something very different from just the means of transportation. And each one thought that in a different way. For instance, in Rotterdam, they worked with feminist collective and feminist academics, and they thought that mobility was getting slower in understanding what we are doing with technology, because we were going too fast and we couldn't understand biases in dataset and algorithms. So what we had to do was keeping another pace and starting inquiring technology from a gender point of view. In Milan, the activists coming from LGBT communities and from sustained green communities wanted to create a digital and physical space to meet for inclusion. So a space which is over political barriers and that can be shared not just in the digital, but not just in the physical, but also in the digital. In what we did in Cagliari, we met activists from A4AS. This is a quite integralistic group. They are working against the military occupation of NATO in the coast of Sardinia, because they feel that most part of that coast cannot be used by people now for a long time. And so the fact of surveillance for them is very strong, and they wanted to reflect on surveillance and freedom in public spaces. And the last one was in Barcelona. Espronceda worked in a workshop at Canodrome, which is a social space in Barcelona, where they are working on the narrative of Barcelona being a digital city. We are here at ICEA, and we know that probably like the narrative of Barcelona as a digital city is very strong, but there are also still some people in Barcelona who don't get access to internet for various reasons. And so the aim of EXO, which is the organization working within Canodrome, was to help them in understanding to overcome digital barriers in reaching the internet. So we made statements with these activists through workshops, and then we invited artists to apply for a specific statement. We received 90 applications, and we chose 4 artists, one for each NEB lab. So the first one is Nino Basilavashvili. Her project is called Moving Forward, and she was in Sardinia, in Cagliari, working with Aforas. What she did was doing a workshop with the activists, try to understand what they mean for freedom. And at the end, it came out that freedom is, for them visually, is really very strong in the pink flamingos, which are birds that are specifically in Cagliari, and that they can fly over the NATO bases instead of many other things. So what Nino is doing now with some programmers is checking and tracking movements of pink flamingos, and representing these movements and tracking this movement in the public space of the city with an installation. So the project is still on, and it will be presented very soon in the last shape. While in Rotterdam, we have worked with Chungyu, and Chungyu is a very young Chinese artist, and their work is called Being a Cat, Being a Fish, Being a Dog. She worked on hundreds of catfishing conversations with deep fake technology. So she talked about porn with many people being a man and being a woman, and try to understand in many different regions of the world what porn meant, to prevent from the male gaze and to the male understanding of porn as the only one who could be attracted by that production. And so she also worked on different porn reproductions with deep fake, changed the perception of the male gaze, and then after she did that, she went around the red light district in Amsterdam, recorded impression of males going around the red district, trying to understand what they thought about the deep porn fake that she made with Bestiary 2. And we have in Milan, we are working with Luca Pozzi, with the Rosetta Mission. Rosetta Mission is an ongoing project for like 2 years now, and for the 2032 version, he built, Rosetta is the name of the ESA, European Spatial Agency in the space, that work together to understand better, as Europe, to understand better the space. He took this name for creating let's say an asteroid dealing with many different people coming from different places in the world, with no gender limits, with no religion limits, and invites artists to create in Mozilla Hub together with the activists, safe and aesthetically and ethically appreciated places where people can meet together. And there is also, like, the work of Luca comes from, as we were saying, from the digital side, but also to the physical side. You can see here an Arcanian, that kind of a monster that looks at us, is something that he has created with the National Physics Institute. He collects subparticles in the world, and while a subparticle arrives and reaches the Arcanian, it produces a tweet that is taken from all the books that the activists have asked him to insert in the dataset for the production of the tweet. The last one, which is the one produced in Barcelona, is called Divide. As we were saying, that it was a project done with the Canodrome. Bernat went together with the activists discussing which was this narrative of a digital Barcelona. And they discovered, and they work with post-its, try to understand the narrative of Barcelona being all digital, and the posters with Barcelona being totally analog. And then they went through the neighborhood taking pictures, and with the text-to-image algorithm, they created different visions of the same perspective of the city. So the work is actually an analog work done with lenticle papers, and you can, in the same, you see all these 4 paintings, kind of 4 pictures, you can see different perspective of the same city just moving a little, and what is doing, like the work worked so well that now EXO and Canodrome are repeating the experiment in another neighborhood. The exhibition is actually on, so if you're here in Barcelona and you want to go to the exhibition, it is in Espronceda, which is not far away from here. It will be open till the 18th of June from 4 to 8. And then the next step will be in Milan in September from the 16th of September. Next steps for us will be to gather researchers in computer science, art, and ethics for developing the project. We opened 2 open calls for scholarship for PhD candidates to inquire better these topics. So if any one of you is interested or you know anyone, please share the news that there are 2 new scholarships for this project going on. And of course, the network of the urban labs is increasing every year. So if you are a cultural or a social organization willing to participate to the project with your community, then you're more than welcome. This is also my email address and the AI4Future website. So for any questions, you're more than welcome. Thank you.